All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so I have not done a video for about a week now, but I am ready to get started back on doing a video. So what have I been up to this last week? Well, I got to tell you, it's been a mixture of good and bad. Last weekend, I really thought that we would have a breakthrough weekend. And I was planning on doing a end of weekend video summarizing my weekend, showing you some of the rides I did. However, it was immensely disappointing. And I just decided not to do that video. And this week, I did some more soul searching, I guess you could say, in business, analyzing, and implemented some new strategies. I'll talk more about that later. But just in general, just wanted to kind of have a different attitude going into the end of the month and setting myself up for September. So, disappointing weekends, a lackluster beginning of the week. The last 2 days have been pretty good, but that has entirely been because of private rides. Actually, surprisingly, Wednesday I had a fairly good day doing Uber and Lyft. They were busy. And that's what I've noticed recently, is that the market, especially the apps, Uber and Lyft, they're busy when you expect them not to be, like Wednesday at 9 a.m. That is highly unusual. And then they're extremely not busy and not having surges when you would expect them to have surges. I can't really explain why. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. But that's been the general trend. I'm heading over to my trusty 7-Eleven. I've got plenty of drinks, and I'm all coffeeed up, so I don't want to drink too much coffee. But going over here to my 7-Eleven, which is at the corner. It's at an advantageous corner because I like starting my shift here. It's not too far from my house, but it gives me good access to a lot of major roads, so that it maximizes my opportunities for a good trip. So let me find. No, they can do that better. Dollars per mile, that's for sure. That is absolutely horrible. I mean, that's been the story of Lyft so far. Yeah, 20 minutes for $7.50 now. Okay, no. Again, mileage. Sorry, time. And mileage, honestly. Possibly. Let's check out this Uber. No. Let's go back to this Lyft. I'm going to say no because I don't like the time. I don't think they're paying adequately for time. Okay, let me cancel this ride. I don't want that ride. My theory is that they sort of test you out at the beginning. Very rarely. I honestly can't remember a time where right off the bat I got a fantastic ride. If it happened before, it's happened a long time ago. But I really can't remember a time where I got an offer straight out that was good. Look at that. Multiple stops, 45 minutes for $15. So my theory is that they start you out with offers that is advantageous for them, and they're willing to see how desperate are you? Are you going somewhere? Are you trying to look for a ride? I didn't push any buttons on that. They just disappeared. That was weird. Man, I'm getting a lot of trash. They're wanting me to go really far. Are you serious? Like, you're saying there's no drivers over there? That's insane. But yet, look, there's no surge. So they want to send me from here to there, way up in Richardson, as if they don't have enough drivers. Look at that. They barely increased it, but that's still horrible. Alright. Better. But still. Horrible. 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 Not good. Yeah. Multiple stops. 15 minutes for $5. Look at this. I mean, it's ride request after ride request, yet they're all horrible. I mean, how is that possible? It's busy right now. It's busy. And this is what I've noticed with Uber and Lyft lately, is that when it's busy, when it's at its busiest, that's a lot of times when I see the absolute worst offers. I think a lot of things are happening at the same time. I do think that there is a squeeze on demand right now, even though it's busy, but it's not going to stay busy for very long. And there's a lot of inconsistencies in the market. It's not like what it used to be. So there definitely is, and people are feeling the pinch of the economy, of inflation, rising prices, everything. So there is an element of that. I also think there's an element of drivers that drive on higher platforms like Lux Black, Uber Black SUV, that are, and many of them are renting their vehicles. And if you have a $600 a week just to pay off the rental, that's before you pay off your other expenses. These people, I think, have suffered a very slow summer along with the rest of us, and they are dipping down into and taking away XL rides. I doubt they are doing Uber X, but you know, I think they're dipping down. And then what happens? The guy with the minivan that does XL rides, that's his bread and butter. Well, if black SUVs are taking XL rides, then he has to dip down and take Uber X rides. So you see this domino effect of lack of demand, people needing to pay their rental bills or just other expenses. So people on higher platforms are dipping down. That's taking away my bread and butter, which is the short Uber X rides. So Uber and Lyft do not have to offer that much. They know that in this constant auction, they don't have to offer very much because people are going to take it. Somebody, an Uber X will take it. A guy driving a minivan will take it. One of these black SUVs might even take it. So, you know, they're willing to sort of weather that storm and see what happens. As you can tell from my phone, I'm getting constant requests. Constant. I'm even going to decline that one. It's short, but, you know, it's going to end up taking me 15 minutes with wait time. And that's another thing, too. I'm going to start adding wait time into a lot of these rides. Because, you know, 5 minutes to pick them up, 4 minutes to drop them off. That sounds nice, 9 minutes. 9 minutes for $3.80, which itself is horrible. But I'm going to spend 3 minutes waiting for them. No. Once again, looks like I got a reservation request. No. Again, they need to pay more for that ride. That rider is paying quite a bit. That rider is paying quite a bit for that ride. All right, let's see what this opportunity is. I swear I can't have a 13 minutes. Nope. Again, same trip. They're trying to send me that same trip. I don't want to do it. It's too little. You know, in the same way that we think of these times as money-making times, that's what apps are doing. They're justifying a higher price right now. They're justifying a higher price to the customer. Yet at the same time, they're not going to give you very much. Honestly, I don't even think that a lot of humans are involved in these decisions anymore. I think this is an AI system that is operating behind the scenes on these apps and is creating these offers. $5.70, that's almost $21 an hour with no wait time. No, not doing it. These AI systems are figuring it out. They're maximizing profits for these companies for sure. And the way they do that is by screwing over the rider mostly. But they're majorly screwing us over. No. We have the domino effect, we have the overall conditions, and we have an AI algorithm out of control that is pressing offers when it's busy. Again, no. I don't think so. I think that's going to a school too, and I don't like that. All of these things combined made for a really horrible weekend. You know, another thing too, that what we thought of as the end of August, the return to school, that's going to come back and save us. At least in this market, I haven't noticed that very much. There is slightly more surges at certain times, but they're very short-lived and very depressed. A lot of the reasons I previously mentioned have caused that, but I think another thing too is a lot of these weekend warriors and these summer knots that came in over the summer or over the weekend to make a little extra money and that, you know, accept everything that comes across their screen, I think they're still out here. I think that they're still, especially weekends. Weekends have been so disappointing lately. I think they're still out there and saturating the market with drivers. So it's a bad combo. There's no two ways around it. It is a tough market right now. Because either you're accepting a bunch of trash, you're putting tons of miles on your car, you're paying so much for gasoline right now and insurance. I just got my insurance bill the other day, and I don't know about y'all, but my insurance, with no accidents, no speeding tickets, nothing on my record, my insurance increased 40%. My insurance, not quite 40%, I'd say 5%. I mean, it skyrocketed. Now, I shopped around and I got a, better, but not good enough. No. I shopped around and I got a slightly better rate. So now it's only a 25% increase rather than 35 or 40%. But still, that's insane. And again, let me reiterate, I have nothing on my record. I haven't even been pulled over, let alone gotten a speeding ticket or any other ticket. I haven't been in a wreck. My fault, their fault, no fault. I haven't been in a wreck. So for my insurance to go up that much with nothing on my record, that's a huge expense. So you're either accepting all this and making $200 in 10 and a half hours, driving 300 miles, 350 miles, which in the long run, you're making yourself poorer by doing that. You're grinding your business equipment, because that's what your car is. Your car is your business equipment. You're grinding that into the ground and destroying it in the long term. You're grinding all this stuff into the ground, and you're destroying yourself financially in the future. Now, my totals are not very high, but at least I'm getting bang for buck. And I'm trying to weather the storm. The moral of this story that I'm trying to get to, I'm very long-winded this morning, is private rides have saved my bacon this week. I had a private ride yesterday, and honestly, I really, really wish I had videotaped Wednesday, because Wednesday was a great day and a really good example of what I'm talking about, where I cherry-picked the hell out of Uber and Lyft, and I got pretty good. Wednesday was a weirdly good day in terms of morning surge and just the offers I was getting. But I also had 3 private rides, one in the early afternoon, one in the evening, and then another one following that. So I kind of, on the bookends of the day, early morning and then later in the afternoon, evening, in those bookends, I did really well. And in between, I went home, got errands done, took a nap, spent time reading, got to do what I wanted to do, but still made a really healthy income the rest of the day. So this is a tough time, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see the destination that I want to go to. It's there. I just got to grasp it. And I'm going to talk more about that here in a little bit. All right, so let's take a look and see if we can find at least one offer. Can we get one offer that is worth a darn? Oh, man. Oh, man. I mean, look at all these games that Lyft's doing. Percentage increase. It's just a gimmick. Look at that. That's with a 10% add-on. So normally that ride would be $16.50. Awful. It just sickens me knowing how much they're charging people. How much money do they need? How much money do they have to take out of this offer? And that's the story. That's just, I'm repeating myself over and over again. This is what we're dealing with. This is why you need to have options outside of Uber and Lyft. This is why you need to have something other than these two thieves in your pocket just giving you ridiculous offers for this time of morning. It's busy right now. People are paying good money to have someone come pick them up in a nice car, drive them home safely, or drive them to work or the airport safely. They're paying good money for this time of day to do that. And Lyft and Uber are wanting to take 50, 60, 70%. And I don't care what anyone on the internet tells you about, oh, I looked at the numbers and actually Uber's only taking 30% or 20% or they're losing money or all this other bull crap. I'm telling you, it's all smoke and mirrors. They're charging the customer quite a bit, and we're receiving a fraction of that. They're eating into our tips, and I don't know how they're doing it. I'm not a financial spreadsheet expert, but I know that they're screwing us and that they're manipulating their spreadsheets. And these companies are not audited. You have to remember that. These companies have no incentive to actually be open and honest. Because yes, they are traded on the stock market, but their numbers are self-reported. They give you the information that they want to give you. It's basic logic, people. If they're charging a customer $30 and giving you $7, they're making a hell of a lot of the money. Yes, they have operating costs. Yes, they have insurance costs. But it doesn't take $23 out of a $30 ride to cover those costs. Plus, let's say a 10% profit margin. It's not $23 for a $30 ride. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what PR campaign they give. I don't care what interviews they give on certain podcasts. I don't care. It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. If your gut is telling you that they're ripping you off, trust your gut. Trust your gut. Frankly, I think it's irresponsible for some podcasts and some people on the internet to insinuate that these companies are not screwing you over with these offers. That, oh, they just have all these expenses. Look at this expense report. Who gave you that expense report? Lyft and Uber did. Are these companies known for being transparent? Drivers know they're not. Increasingly, riders know they're not. Look at that. 4.8 rating. You think that person's going to be on the curb waiting? Don't think so. I don't care what someone else thinks Uber and Lyft is saying that their numbers are. It's not auditable. It's not independently verified. And it breaks common sense. When you have all of those things together, you have to view, at minimum, you have to view it with high suspicion. Now, I don't believe it 100%. I think the numbers are being massaged because you have to remember these companies are in the crosshairs of customers, drivers, and lawmakers and regulators. All four of those groups of people are pissed off right now. This is a PR campaign that some podcasts, multi-stop, over 45 minutes of driving, God knows what they're going to ask you to do for $14. Look at that. I mean, just insanity. Insanity. That's getting better. That's getting better. That's okay. That's okay, Uber, but you can do better than that. It's not worth my time to go down that far. Now, I was thinking about it. I was nearly there, but we're getting there. I want a little bit higher than that, and that's what I'm hoping. I keep declining, and my theory is that they're eventually going to have to pay up. I'm okay. I'm sitting here at 7-Eleven. It's safe here. I'm cozy. I'm sitting down. I'm chatting with you. I'm having a good time. No problems. It's irresponsible for certain podcasters and certain people in this industry that people look to and give the impression that Uber and Lyft are really doing us a solid. They're not. And I find it highly suspicious when they, at a critical juncture in the market, where everyone that is out there that's a small gig tuber and is out there showing you screenshots and screen recordings of what we're actually getting, that we're showing you what it's really like. But people with higher name profiles that are willing to regurgitate PR campaigns from these apps, showing you numbers that are like, well, look at this bonus I got and look at all this money I made. I think it's irresponsible to put that out there without even talking about the general trends and also the huge skepticism that you should have about these numbers that you're getting, because consistently these offers are being made. I mean, let me show you something. Let me turn this off because they're sending nothing. Let me just show you something real quick. Yeah, another trash. All right, turn you off. All right, let me show you something real quick. Okay, Uber. Let's look at Uber real quick. Let's see. Oh, okay. Promotions. Do I have any promotions? Oh, look at there. I get $1.50 in that hour. Whoop-de-doo. $3.50 for that hour. I don't work that hour because I wake up early. Whoop-de-doo. This is it. This is all the promotions I get. That's it. And to be honest with you, when I do get bonuses that they offer, I don't even select them anymore because they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. I get like 30 rides for $15, 80 rides for $50. So you do 80 rides at 50 to 60 cents a mile, and they're going to give you $50 on top of that. That's the kind of stuff I'm getting. But yet big channels, influential people that people go to listen to, they hear, oh, this person got a $500 bonus to do 20 rides. And it's vicarious influence. It's sending the message, ooh, money's out there, and it gets people off their couch, and it gets them to turn on the apps in their markets where they're not getting that special. Am I saying that Uber and Lyft are somehow, am I suggesting that they're somehow picking certain people for certain incredible bonuses? No. Maybe it's chance. I'm not ready to say that. But it is highly suspicious. And it's irresponsible. I think these people that are getting these offers and showing them and bragging about them and showing the numbers and saying, look, Lyft and Uber, they lost money when they got the, it's irresponsible because you're not giving the full picture and you're not giving a full warning to people. It's highly suspicious that you would be getting massive bonuses at this critical juncture in the market. Football season's coming up. Kids are back to school. Veteran drivers are excited that it's going to pick up. And it might. But this is a critical juncture, and you're seeing evidence on my screen that at this, it is 7:10 in the morning. People are ordering trips right now. They want to get to the airport. It's a long weekend. It's back to school time. It's go to work time. It's Friday. And there's nothing. There's constant requests. You saw that. Constant. Every 3 seconds, I'm getting a Lyft request. Then I go back to Uber. I get an Uber request. Then I go back to Lyft. I get a Lyft request. Then I go back to Uber. I get an Uber request. It's constant. So the rides are out there. The rides are out there. But they're horrible. Your time, and the money you're spending on gas and all this stuff, and you're getting pittance for it. You see the evidence, and at this critical juncture in the market, you're giving the insinuation that it's all good out there, and that these apps aren't taking advantage of you. Because look at their earnings statement that they produce on their end with no verification. I can't go into Lyft's and Uber's system and verify their numbers. This is self-reported. You see my numbers. I'm transparent. I show you what I get. Does Uber and Lyft show you the actual money go into their account? Do they show you that? No, they don't. It's a piece of paper, it's a PDF with random numbers. Guarantee you, random manipulated numbers put onto a spreadsheet. You can't verify that. No one does. But yet you're going to base your analysis on, ooh, is Lyft back? Ooh, is Uber back? Is it getting busy out there? Ooh, is it time to hit the road? If you're not being paid to say those things, then you're being used. And it's stupid, it's irresponsible, and it's allowing people to think, to live vicariously through your unique situation that is highly suspect. Because it's going to get a lot of dumb people. You know what? I take that back. Yes, there are some dumb people, but not all of these people are dumb. They're manipulated. It's getting them to go, ooh, let me wake up early and let me get out there and start driving, and ooh, let me get out on Friday night at 11 o'clock when the bars are closing and when the concert ends. And guess what happens? Poof! No surge. 20 miles for $12. Crap. At the end of the night and at the end of a concert. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And it's allowing people to live vicariously through your false notion of what's going on, and it's sucking them into a system that's abusing them. Sucking them into a system that's abusing them. That's not right. Okay, I've been incredibly negative so far. Let me talk about some positives. So, it looks like there's a little bit of surge happening. I'm going to leave the apps off for a little bit. I'm going to leave them off and just, because I'm getting nothing but trash anyway. So I'm going to leave them off for a second. Let them build up some interest in me. Maybe they'll start throwing me. So, just teach them a lesson. Like, hey, I'm just going to turn you off. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to kill the app. Let's talk about some positive stuff for a second. So it was super slow on Tuesday, and I went home and I started thinking, okay, I can't just sit here at home and do other stuff, although that's fun. Let's think about some business things that I could do. And so I thought, you know what? Why don't I make some flyers or brochures for my private rides business, and I'll go to different hotels that are in my area that I'm very close to, that I have easy access to, and let me go to them and introduce myself and show them, this brochure and say, hey, here's my name, here's my number, here's my email. Here's the QR code. You can share this information with people who come to you and say, hey, I need a ride. I need to get to the airport at such and such a time. Do you know somebody? So I did that. And on Wednesday, I got a call from one of these hotels to take a guy. He's temporarily living at the hotel because he's about to move in next door to the residences. And they say, hey, this guy needs a ride. Turns out, I get there, he needs a ride to a burger joint 5 minutes down the road. I take him there. He says, hey, I'm really hungry. Do you mind if I go inside and order and sit down and eat? I got a feeling that this guy was generous. I got that vibe from him. I normally would have said, well, I don't think so, but, I said, okay, sure. Why not? Go ahead. So I did. I actually went inside with him. I'd already eaten. So, but I went inside and I just sat down with him as a human being. We chatted. I was on my phone. He ate. Bada bing, bada boom. 25 minutes later, he finishes. We get up. We walk out. We go back to the hotel. So 5 minutes there. 25 minutes at the restaurant. 5 minutes back. So we're maybe 35, 40 minutes into this whole trip. And he says, when we get there, he says, how much do I owe you? And I said to him, does $40 sound fair? About $1 a minute for the waiting, the eating with him, and all this stuff. $1 a minute. Sounded fair. He called me, and I was there, lickety split. I mean, I think $40 for that kind of service was fair for him. At back seat, he reaches over and hands me a $100 bill and says, thank you so much for showing up and being a good guy. Really appreciate you. Here's $100. Now, that is awesome, and that's not going to happen every time. But that downtime that I would have spent spinning my wheels, chasing after 60-cent a mile rides, I went home, regrouped, rethought, and said, what are some things I could do to improve my situation? I thought of this idea, and it came to fruition on Wednesday night when I got that call. So I went a total of 3 miles and made $100 on that one ride. Like I told you, I wish I had made a video on Wednesday, because it would have been awesome. It would have been great content, but I took the day off. I didn't want to do it. Regretted it. But that's how I ended my night, after doing another private ride. So I did a private ride, and on my way home, got that phone call and made $100 off that one ride. I'm telling you, don't fall into this. I'm not doing the same thing that I'm complaining about these other people doing. I'm showing you the negative. I'm showing you my numbers, but I'm not being a pessimist, and I'm not being a negative Nancy. I'm practicing what I preach, because I'm saying, hey, I'm struggling out here too on these apps, so I'm doing some other. But I'm showing you what I'm doing for the long-term success of me in this industry. I'm using Uber and Lyft when I can and when it makes business sense. But I'm making a play to not have to rely on them at all, and still make more money, profit, than I was doing with the apps. You're seeing the slow beginnings of this. So I'm excited to be on this journey with you, and I hope it inspires you to do likewise. I recommend everyone that is here make business cards. At minimum, put some QR codes in your back seat. I got them right here. Cash App, Venmo. At minimum, put those in your back seats. A lot of passengers want to give tips through Venmo. If you get a private ride, it's an easy way to have people pay. At minimum, do that. Make business cards. I got them right here. Make business cards. Form an LLC. Separate your business expenses and income from your personal. Do your taxes right. Make a website. It's not that hard. There's a lot of great GoDaddy, other places that make getting a website very easy. If you're tech savvy, you could do it yourself. Be discoverable online. A lot of my private rides I get from people who find me online. Do that. Do these things that are going to provide an extra source. Don't just sit here and surely don't accept everything that you're seeing on my screen. Definitely don't do that, but don't sit out here and be frustrated and not have some way of releasing that energy into something productive. Take control of what you can control. What I can control, I can't control what Uber and Lyft are doing on the back end. I can't control that. I just have to analyze the offers that come in, and as a business person, make a business assessment. You can do this. You can control the things that you can control. And I hope that some of this is a good example. I hope today I don't have any private rides scheduled yet. We shall see. But I'll be sharing my numbers. And I hope that today ends up being a good day. Now, I do have a private ride tomorrow morning, very early. But so I'm going to be not driving tonight. I'm only going to be driving in the morning, and we'll see what happens at around noon. We'll see how the morning goes. We'll see how today goes, but I'm setting myself up for tomorrow because I have a good private ride. I'm making this recording because I decided to go back home, take my wife to work because there was nothing going on anyway. So I might as well take my wife to work early. So I went and picked her up. And we talked about this in the car on the way there. She said that when she got done and before she contacted me to see if I could take her to work, she opened up the Uber app, and the Uber app told her that it was going to cost her $21 to get from our house to work. Just for reference, from our house to work is about five and a half miles. And I just did the ride. There's very little traffic right now. Much less than there typically is. So they offered her $21. She didn't take it. Which, by the way, $21 is high compared to what it normally costs. Normally costs her about $15. Let's guess what the driver would have made. The driver probably would have made about $5 at best for that ride. 5.5 miles. If you were sitting right there at my house, they probably would have offered you $5.50 if you're lucky. Dollar per mile. Now, here's the interesting part. She doesn't take it. Then she gets a notification from Uber a few minutes later saying, "Oh, the price of your ride has dropped." Guess what it dropped to? It dropped to $9. It went from $21 to $9. That's over a 50, almost a 60% decrease in the price that they were going to have her pay. My guess is that Uber was, what do you think the driver would have made on that? My guess is that the driver would have made a little bit less. Let's say $4.50. That's about 75 to 80 cents a mile. But $21 for $5.50. Now it's $9 for $4.50. So their profit margin was a little bit less, obviously. They still would have had to pay the driver something. But do you see what's happening? Today, and my wife brought up a great point. She said, you know, I bet that there's not a lot of people going into work today. And that's probably true because it's a long weekend. So I was out there this morning like it was a normal Friday. And it's not a normal Friday. You saw on my screen that there were surges. They're doing the same thing to riders as they are to drivers. Oh, it looks like a normal morning. Ooh, there's some surge. Ooh, look at this. But you saw the offers. Were the offers any good? Were they any better because Lyft had a 10% increase? Or because Uber had a $2.50 surge? No, they weren't. In many cases, they were worse than what they normally are. And then on the rider side, when she opens up the app and they think, ooh, she must be wanting to go into work early. And these apps know that it's not busy. They know this. And what do they offer her? $21 to take that 5.5 mile ride. $21. We're going to pay your driver $5.50, but you don't know that. Do you think a normal rider? Now my wife's different. She tips every time. Even for bad drivers, she'll give $1 tip because she knows that, hey, at least you're putting yourself out there and this is tough work and you're not making much money. But she tips all the time. She tips all the time. I mean, she's the wife of a driver. She knows how it is. But for a normal person that's ignorant of the market and what's going on these days, do you think that a normal rider that's paying $21 for a 5.5 mile trip is going to tip their driver? Probably not. Probably not. That's where your money's going. That's why your profits are down. That's why you're not making much money, is right there. That is an AI algorithm saying, hey, this person opens their app at this certain time, and so let's see what we can get away with. As a matter of fact, I think that's what I'm going to title this video. Let's see what we can get away with. That's what Uber and Lyft say. And then they drop it down to 9 to try to get her to take the ride. Guys, this is bad. I don't care what person on a supposedly independent platform says to you. This is a game, and you need to be prepared. Look, I'm not sitting here saying, it's a game, oh, I'm going to quit. You know, some of you may need to quit. Some of you may need to quit and go get a W-2 job. It's that bad. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And honestly, some of you may be happier for it and financially better off. But if you're not doing something to either get that W-2 job or to create other sources of income, if you're not doing something, you're doing yourself and your family a disservice. These apps, their days are numbered, mark my words. This sort of predatory practice, what do you think a rider thinks when their ride goes from $21 to $9 in 3 minutes? What do you think a rider thinks? Wow, that's manipulation. You bet it is. You bet it is. It's manipulation. These apps' days are numbered. Be prepared for when that day comes. Make your exit plan now, because Uber and Lyft can't sustain themselves for very long. Everyone hates them. Drivers hate them. Riders hate them. Governments hate them. Pretty soon, I guarantee you, Wall Street's going to hate them too. They lose trust with everything and everyone they touch and see. So that their days are numbered. I think AI and driverless cars are going to be the death knell of them. That can be a topic for a whole other video. But their days are numbered because no one likes them or trusts them. They're there because people need some sort of transportation, but people are going to figure it out. People are going to come up with different ways, and we're going to be part of that solution. Drivers who are smart in thinking of this long term are going to be part of the solution on how we are able to survive and thrive in this down market. So I wanted to share that story with you at the end of this video to kind of give you further confirmation of everything I was saying earlier, of everything I was saying to begin this video.